What's up, everybody? I'm Jamal.
And I'm Brandon, and this is The Way We Ball.
Let me just apologize, everybody. Missing last week's episode. Had a little emergency. My dog was attacked by another dog, but he's alive. So we'll just brush over that and move on to this week's episode. Brandon, you want to kick things off this week?
Shit, we're frozen.
I'm not.
Oh, you're back now. Sorry. It was
Great.
frozen on my screen. I know it froze. I know you were talking about your dog. Glad your dog's okay.
Thanks, man. As you can tell, we're a bit rusty. So let's get back into the groove of things. Sorry. So yeah, I froze. I guess I did freeze. I told everybody about my dog, and then I said if you wanted to kick things off this week.
Okay, sorry. Yeah. So, all right, let's start off first with Colorado recap here. I've got 4 topics we can choose from here.
We're off to
all
a rough
about
start.
the game. So first one here, we can talk about Benny ball culture is 100% real. The other one we could talk about, Mikael is ready for Europe. What a ball from Sebas, or the ref playing on from Maxo's injury. Which one do you want to start with one of those 4?
Oh man, are we covering all of them, or are we just picking one or two?
Yeah, we can just dive into a little bit of them.
Cool. Let's start off with getting a better producer. Let's start off with, okay. Coach Olsen encompasses everything. So let's start off with there. Is Ben Olsen's handling of the team, was that a result of that? Or do we just play a defeated Rapids team? Or do we just get lucky with not getting that call of the elbow to the face? Which one was it?
So I'm 100% in on Benny ball culture is real. I think with what we had out there in terms of there's no Ache, no Nelson, no Bassi, no Coco, no Svechenko, no problem, right? The game plan was boring by design, and that's why he set it up that way. We had a ton of possession. It wasn't really threatening possession, but in the end, we had the counterattack. It was the substitution that worked. I've always killed Benz for his substitutions, but Seba's coming on late. He looked great. That ball to Brad Smith was absolutely beautiful. So I think the way we've gone with all these injuries, how we've played against top talent, with the Rapids, man, they've spent a ton of money revamping that team, bringing in some really good talent there as well. The fact that we came away with a 1-0 late too, we never get those late winners. I'm absolutely stoked, all in on Benny Ball being 100%. This is our heat culture, man.
I don't know if I want to, for me, it's tough because if Sebas isn't starting, I don't think we get that goal. I don't see another one of our strikers making that pass to get it to Smith for that goal. So as you said, we weren't playing to win. We were just keeping back. And I'm not saying that was the wrong call. That was a correct call with everything we had going against us, going away. Playing for the draw, going away with a point would have been a success. The fact that we left with 3 points, we stole an additional 2 points, even better. But it's too soon for me. I will say the one thing that I do give Ben credit for is that you had a guy that you shipped off to Brazil, did not get playing time, and you were very vocal to the media on why you shipped him off, because he didn't fit your style. He wasn't the right key or the right piece that you needed. And you successfully brought him back, and he looks bought in. He looked more aggressive in that Colorado game than he did all of last season as far as running back, coming to the other part of the field, helping out on defense. He's bought in. For him to buy in after everything that happened, that has to do with team culture. So I do give him credit there. Now, as far as a performance, I don't know if I can if I can give that to him just yet. And that's just me being very, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice kind of deal. Like, I want to be very patient before I can say Ben is the one, Ben is the man. It was a very boring game, very tough to watch. I was excited, and then by halftime, I was like, we're just going to get more of this, aren't we? But man, having Sebas come in there, and I guess this is kind of transitioning, having Sebas in there, I've never felt that threat, right? Every time he touches the ball, you're like, this guy, anywhere he's at, he can just kick it in. And I just miss that feeling so much. We never really had it with Baird. We don't have it with Nepo Baby. But man, just having Sebas there where he can pull something out of his ass, I just love that feeling. I love having that striker, and I am pumped after hearing that April 20th is the date that we're eyeing to have Achi Achi back. I am pumped to have Achi Achi back with with Kovalchuk, with Seba starting. A lot to look forward to in these next coming weeks.
No, I agree. I think we're starting to look stronger, and we're getting healthier at the right time. There's about to be a real surge in this team. Now, let's talk about something else here and move on. I think we've kind of hit everything that's gone on with the game, and probably by now most listeners have heard it all in depth. But Mikael, I wasn't kidding about Mikael probably being ready for Europe. My God, is that guy just such a luxury to have back there? In the game, dude, he was just sweeping up everything. Anything that seemed to be an attack, there he was to clear it away. You and I are big Liverpool guys. We'll mention that every pod. He's like our Virgil van Dijk. I mean, in the sense that just when it's crunch time, he's going to come up big. I am absolutely in love with him. We've been talking Coco's, probably the next for Europe. It might be Mikael.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm a European team, I'm going after Mikael just because of age. Center backs have a long shelf life in soccer. I'm definitely looking at Mikael. The guy's been player of the team so far for me. He's consistent. He doesn't really
Yeah,
make mistakes, and you know what you're getting back there. And look, we've interchanged Sviatchenko and Bartlow.
Bartlow.
Doesn't miss a beat. Doesn't You're getting
Yeah.
a solid defense no matter what. That guy is kind of the core of this team. It seems like, and he's making our goalkeeper's life easier too. No matter who you put back there. So man, I can't say enough about Mikael, and I wouldn't be surprised if we get a nice payday from a transfer fee. I don't think he's going to be with us very long for that reason specifically. I think we're going to get a deal that you cannot pass up just because he's so young and the center back can play until they're mid to late 30s.
I have a hot take here. If we can keep him for 10 years like a Dynamo lifer, he would go down as probably the greatest Dynamo player we've ever had. Just because of his upside, the way he can really clean up back there. Like, he has a bright, bright future ahead of him. I think he's only going to continue to grow. Tying in a little bit more of our defense here. Are you at all concerned? We haven't really seen Tate Schmidt that much.
No, I just think it's moving the players around. I thought with Escobar getting a little crazy there, and that was another point in the game where we got lucky that he didn't get us another yellow card.
Yeah,
Looked like a headbutt, right? Like not.
it
I'm trying
looked
to be
like a headbutt.
non-biased. That looked like a headbutt, and as soon as I saw it, I was like, "Come on, man!" Like those guys you love and hate because that tenacity, that's what makes him who he is. But that also puts you in
Yeah.
dangerous situations. So I'm not too concerned. I think it's just time management. Um, and I mean, I don't really think it's been a burden so far. I mean, that's probably a conversation to have in like 2-3 months, but I'm not too really concerned with that.
So let's tie in some more controversy now. Are you okay with the ref playing on after the elbow from Artur to Maxo and it resulting in us getting a goal?
100%, I'm okay with that. We've been victims too much of bad calls. It was nice to have it flipped, to put that Uno reverse card and have it go our way. I'm 100% okay with it. It's like we hear the same excuses when we're the victims, and it's like, well, it's part of the game, and blah blah blah. I'm okay with the cookie crumbling the way it did.
I agree. The only reason why is because Colorado had a lot of possession to kick it out while he was down before it just resulted in a counterattack. So if they would have booted it out immediately or something like that, have a much stronger case. I'm pretty sure if they would have kicked it out, we would have done the gamesmanship where we kind of throw it back to them, you know? And so it wouldn't have resulted in that counterattack goal. The fact that the ref played on afterwards, I think they literally touched the ball like 7 times around there, and then we just happened to break away and score. And like you said, that's the way the cookie crumbles. Now, kind of a bigger theory here. That happened in the box, right? If that happens in midfield, they're probably calling a foul. Are you okay with soccer kind of having a gray area and knowing that fouls are going to be called differently in the box versus in the mid of play?
Yeah, I mean that's just life, and I mean to your point, that's something that I had written in my notes that I wanted to bring up. Same thing happened to Brooklyn Reigns. He goes down. The difference, we kicked the ball
Yeah.
out. We kicked it out of play. A few minutes later, same thing happens. These guys got a little aggressive because they knew we were playing back, And it's like, I mean, yeah, it didn't go the way you wanted, but as you said, you had every opportunity to kick it out and stop play for a bit. So I mean, now because of the way the game ended, now it's an issue. Had they scored, wouldn't have been an issue at all, right? So that's just the game. And as far as that little gray area, it's frustrating, but I, I I side with the refs in that because that penalty kick is just too much of a game changer. Um, I get the gray area, and I think that I honestly think that it is needed just for parity within these matches.
Yeah, everything has degrees. So let's move on here because now I kind of want to dive into a little bit more team news. But to wrap up here for Dynamo, next home game this Saturday against San Jose. San Jose is right now 12th in the conference. They have a terrible goal difference. They've allowed 11 goals. They have like a -5 goal difference. I predict a W from us here. I think that we're going to come out, put 3-1 on them, 3-0 on them. Like I think this might be our first quote unquote rout of the season.
I feel pretty comfortable about a win. A route, I'm not that comfortable. I still don't trust our offense. I don't know when Sebas comes in. I'd love to see Sebas get some more playing time. Um, I don't trust the offense enough to call it a routing. Speaking of our offense, what did you think of Aleu in the wing?
He's much better on the wing. I know people are frustrated that he wasn't kind of like making deeper cuts and stuff like that, but I think that was part of the design of the game plan to keep shape above creating chances because we knew if we could just hang on, that would be fine. We knew our defense was good enough. I like him up there. I think the reason why I predict a route, I think he's going to be up there on the wing. I think Sebas gets the full go. I think we'll probably see him play around like 70, maybe 65 minutes. I think San Jose's defense is just a joke. They've got a lot of holes. If we don't really put it on it, that would be frustrating. I hope we just don't play to our competition.
Who do you have between Bossy, Coco, Kovalchuk? Where are you placing those three guys, or starting?
I think Bossy gets the start. In this case, Kovalchuk started. We didn't have Coco on international duty. I don't know how much he played or didn't play. So I would like to see Coco starting. Maybe Kovalchuk come off the bench there. Kovalchuk or Bossy coming off is completely awesome. I mean, that's a great super sub to have. I don't know. Was Bossy's due to injury? Because if that's the case, I don't know how quote unquote knocked up he is.
Yeah, I had read something about that. I don't remember what it was. I don't want to say it was injury, but don't quote me on that. It's been such a chaotic week. Which, by the
Yeah,
way, we
same.
will have Ball It Like I See It back after this week. It's just,
Yeah,
it was kind of chaos. Spent like 2 nights in the ER vet, whatever that name is. But yeah, I don't recall. So sorry for not doing justice on that. But going back to that point, because of all the playing time he got, so he played quite a bit for Panama. Do you start Coco or do you let him get some rest playing a team as weak as San Jose?
if he played it quite a bit, then I would like for him to be the super sub, come off second half, maybe 70th minute, 75th minute, and just kind of rest his legs. Because again, I think San Jose's got a long way to climb this season. If we lose this one, that will be a very frustrating. This is one that we should come away with 3 points.
Is this one of
A
those
draw is
matches
not going to be good
too?
enough.
That's what I'm saying. Is this one of those matches where a draw feels like a loss?
Yeah, I mean this San Jose to me is probably going to be like the bottom of the conference this season. They just they got a lot of holes to fill. They have not gotten better. When they sold Cade, they didn't really do much with it. They're going to suffer this season.
And he's
But
literally living his best life in Mexico. How funny is that?
yeah, dude. I mean, it goes to show he needed to get out of there. San Jose's got a lot of problems, and they keep going through coaches left and right. They got to keep building. But let's talk some bigger news here with the Dynamo here. This has kind of been a topic that started off as like a hot button issue, but now it's cooled off a little bit. And you have a little bit more in depth on kind of the overall thing with the Tigres doing the promotion through us. And I know producer
Uh,
Shay has the tweet somewhere.
I love how
I think he fell asleep.
we read each other's minds. We work together so well.
Yeah.
Um, so I guess while he's loading that up for our YouTube viewers to watch,
There we go.
there you go. So yeah, we screen grabbed a tweet from probably the most famous Dynamo fan, Webb Tilton. This is so okay. Let me start from the beginning. Victor Ariza tweets out, "Wow, an MLS team could pack NRG Stadium in Houston, and the Dynamo aren't even involved. Liga MX Club Tigres will be the home team, quote unquote, and rightly so. Talk about being an afterthought in your own city." Which you got a response, quoted retweet from Webb Tilton. "This is damn stupid on so many levels. I hate it. I get Tigres fans packing NRG, but I doubt they could fill it. But it's damned insulting to market this to Dynamo fans in our city. I would never go except for the chance to see Tigres beat Miami. Period. MLS sucks. Period." Strong words. And I see where he's coming from. But there's always that but. There was a sentence there where he said, "This sucks for Dynamo fans." This isn't for Dynamo fans. This is for soccer fans. These are for the guys who don't buy into the Dynamo. This is for those casual fans that we always bitch and moan about. This is for them. This is a reason to get them season tickets, to purchase season tickets for the Dynamo so that they can get perks like the one we just got. I say that because I bought tickets as soon as I could. I used my code. I bought 2 tickets for the Tigres Messi game. Also, we're going to make content for that, so I'm going to work. Okay, let's just say that. But I remember telling my friends that are soccer fans here in the Rio Grande Valley, and they were like, "How do I get those tickets? How do I get those tickets?" And I told them, "Well, I'm a season ticket holder. Blah blah blah. How do I become a season ticket holder? Like, I want to see Messi. I want to see Tigres. And keep in mind, this is like Tigres. There's probably more Tigres fans here than anything else, than any other team because we're so close to Monterrey. So this promotion is for those fans. It's for the soccer fan, and it's frustrating because we have a great product and we can't fill out the shelf. I think NRG is going to sell out. If the tricky part is that he's like LeBron, right? You don't know if he's going to play or not. But I think as we get closer and he guarantees or you get a better idea that he's going to play, I can see NRG selling out. Tigres fans to see Messi against the Tigres in Houston. I mean, it's nicknamed Houston Tamaulipas, right? Like, there's just a huge fan base from that part. Monterrey is San Pedro, it's not even Tamaulipas. But anyway, huge fan base from that area of the world. It's going to be massive. And look, for a season ticket holder, it's a great perk to have. I feel like we lack on some of the perks. Don't get me started on the season member hat that we got as a gift. I'm much better off having this as a gift than that hat. I think the Dynamo need to do a better job of giving season ticket holders better benefits. I don't think they're that great. I think this was a step in the right direction for that.
If the Dynamo aren't seeing any money from this, I don't get it. Because to me, this is insulting to have another MLS team come in. I get it that, oh, it's Messi. 100%. He's the face of the MLS, whatever. If Apple wants to promote that, 100% behind that. If Adidas wants to promote it, I get it. If MLS themselves wants to promote it, I get it. But to go through another team to promote 2 other teams that don't have anything to do with yours, and if you're not seeing any revenue stream from it, I don't get it. Because as a fan especially, imagine any other franchise coming here to play and us selling tickets to that team through one of our apps. Oh, the Cowboys are coming to play the Saints at, Rice University, and then it's selling to Texans fans. I don't think that's like a good look, especially if you're not making money off of it. If the Dynamo somehow are doing it, I don't see it as a perk to us fans, especially because when we have the Dynamo have a guy on our team who was the national team's captain at one point, and you're telling me we can't draw the Tigres to come to Shell to pack that? Why aren't we trying to plan it that way? I understand it's like, oh, well, it's an easy draw for Messi, but it's just frustrating to me. This is a ploy where you're just selling out now completely to one guy, and you're not building your own brand, your own franchise. The MLS is bigger than Messi in the sense of that it has to be bigger than Messi. He's growing the platform, but in the end, he will retire. There will still be an MLS. The only way that's going to continue to grow is if individual franchise figure out how to make their brand stronger. And this isn't it.
Well, I think that's, that's the tricky part in it, because it is insulting to Dynamo fans. As a Dynamo fan, it's very upsetting to me that we're like, I mean, you're spot on with everything. I think the biggest issue though is that those Tigres fans don't take us seriously. They don't take MLS seriously. There's still this mindset with a lot of Liga MX fans that MLS is of a lesser quality. We're starting to see that's not the results. I'm talking about the casual Liga MX fans. I mean, yeah, we have Ache Ache, but even amongst L3 fans, like, he's not the same Ache Ache. He's already on the end of his career. Him coming to MLS kind of solidified that belief for a lot of folks. I get what they're trying to do. Now, here's my issue with it. Let's say, like me, I buy tickets. I'm telling other friends to become season ticket holders to get perks like these. I better see Dynamo involved in that match, whether it's outside in the concourse, whether it's kiosks, whether it's tables. Like, just don't send me there with my season ticket perks and then just disappear. My biggest issue with our marketing is that we're not where the soccer fans are. We're not where the soccer communities are. Pay to come see us, pay a lot of money to come see us, sit in our nice suites with free food and free this and that. That's great. If, as you've mentioned before, if I'm a businessman, I'm in downtown Houston, I'll go check out something, something to do. Those guys that are going to be supporting you day in, day out, the guys that are going to be passionate about you, they're not those guys. Those guys are in the fields every Saturday morning playing pickup soccer with their friends. They're there every Sunday. Their kids are in Little League. The Dynamo have a terrible community outreach, and I think that's why we're in the situation that we're in. They're going to the people that can give them money. They're not going to the people that are going to invest in them and fall in love with them, because those people who are just shelling out money, they can fall out of love really quick. When Achi is gone, when Messi's out of this league, they'll be gone as well. It's those people that are passionate about the sport that we need to bring in, and we're not doing that. We saw that. We were going to talk about that, but I guess I'll just bring it up now. With they were kicking out kids and parents, or they're kicking out parents who are trying to watch their kids. That's going to have a bigger impact than you letting me buy Messi tickets a week early than general public. It's the things like that. And that's the most frustrating thing about it, because it really is so simple. You're in a huge community that loves soccer. The fact that the Tigres game is going to be in NRG is evident of that. Do the easy stuff. Do the simple stuff. Do the stuff that's free. It's just going to take your time. Go to those soccer clinics, host clinics, let kids come see the team practice on the house. You don't have to charge them. You're going to get your money through those season tickets, through those big spenders that come in and want to show off to their clients. That's going to come. But you're not doing the things that'll make people fall in love with this team. If anything, you're growing resentment towards them, because those kids, those parents that they kicked out, they're probably thinking like, man, this wouldn't happen if I was watching the Tigres. This wouldn't happen if I was back home in whatever part of the world they're in. We have this attitude like we're the Texans, like we're the Rockets, and we're not, at least not yet. And it's very frustrating, man, because it really is very simple. You don't have to dish out a ton of cash. You just got to be passionate about what you do. You have to be passionate about the sport, and you have to care. And people see that. And if they don't see that, whoever's representing the club doesn't care, why are they going to care? So, that's kind of my take on
Well,
it.
I'm going to
I
kill
love
him
it.
on.
Go ahead.
I'm going to kill him on creativity, because this is something where you're just saying like, hey, I'm going to sell tickets and attach this all to Messi and Tigres, and this is going to make us money. To whereas, why aren't we reaching out and trying for, hey, why don't we try to play Wrexham's guy team, and then we'll also say, bring over your women's team and have them match up against the Dash? Why aren't we reaching out to Premier League teams and saying, why don't you bring your youth academies and also your girls teams and come here and play us and play the Dash? Like, you need to package this where you're growing it for not only the guys team, but girls team, because it's under the same umbrella here. This is a missed opportunity by just doing the laziest thing possible. It'd be like the rest of the NBA just saying, let's make money by just saying, hey, LeBron's going to go to Japan and play in an exhibition game, and we'll all just latch onto that all season long. It's not good enough. It's too lazy. The creativity over there is lacking. There's other fixes to do, and they're not doing that. There's a much smarter route to go here.
Well, the frustrating thing is, I mean, this happened in Chicago. Let's say Messi a month before is like, oh, I'm not playing. Let's say he gets hurt. Let's say for another reason he decides he doesn't want to play that game. Then what happens? Are they going to offer refunds like Chicago did? Like that's a scary part too, because as you said, like if you're focusing everything on just one person, you're playing a very dangerous ball game there because nothing's certain in sports. Like you need people who want to be there, not because Messi's playing. So, yeah, man, like
I'm
it's
telling you, man.
frustrating. It's a double-edged sword because again, as a fan, I do like that I had that perk. You get the sense of what's the word like I'm having a brain fart, but anyway, you get the sense that like, okay, my ticket, my season pass has value to it. I'm getting more than just tickets to each game. I'm getting more than a small discount. That I do like. On the professional side of things, the world I came from, it's very, very frustrating because, as you said, it's very lazy. Oh, we're getting Messi. Let's do this. That's it. As I said, for
I
me,
agree.
if the front office isn't there, and I want to see Dynamo like plastered, make NRG orange. If they're not there,
Hmm.
if they're not taking advantage of all the soccer fans that are there, then it's a loss. We took a fat L. Take advantage of all those eyes, take advantage of all that data coming in, have people sign up for raffles. Like at the end of the day, Warren Buffett said it, data and information is going to be worth more than oil. Get all that data, reach out to fans, engage with them. Because if not, then you just, as DJ Khaled says, you played yourself. So,
Well, at least they just now wrote that article where they talked about how Dynamo created an events team and it's profited in 100 million. And the whole article was basically like, "Isn't that crazy that you can make money through events?" And it's like, yep, that's I can't believe we just caught on to that. So hopefully we can take that money and start to turn it into bigger profits and use that money to buy teams. You know how easy, like I'm saying, Wrexham. I'm not kidding on that. You would love that, especially. That would sell out in seconds. And on top of that, if we can make an episode, it grows our brand. I'm all about growing our brand now. Let's start going to Argentina and play games there. You know what I mean? I want, instead of kids just running around in Messi jerseys that are Inter Miami, let's get them in Ache jerseys down there.
how many? What if you could take a wild guess percentage? What's the percentage of Miami slash Messi fans we're going to see at NRG as opposed to Tigres?
Oh, it's going to be primarily pink and Argentina jerseys for sure.
Over
I
Tigres?
I, I would say, yeah. I think
Uh, I think it's going to be
you're
like
gonna.
twenty
Oh,
percent.
dude, you're talking about. Oh no, man! You're talking this in this case. I think you're going to see the kids from the Woodlands come out there in their Crocs and Messi jerseys that they just bought online, and they got tickets through whatever. Like you're marketing out a lot of people who own those suites and are going to hand it down to their friends because they know
Are
Messi.
you
Like, I
are
don't
you
get me
going to
wrong,
that?
Tigres is going to have a big presence. No, I'm not going to go.
Oh, yeah, me neither.
I don't
No,
care.
I'll be
Like
there.
for me, like for me, like it's one of those things where like it'd be cool, but I genuinely it would be cool to see Messi, but I don't care to see Messi in NRG. I would rather see him at the show. I want to see
Yeah,
him in an intimate setting. I don't want to see him in a stadium like that.
yeah. Well, like I'm going on work assignment, so on the way we ball assignment. So,
Exactly. Yeah.
uh, all right, Brandon. What do we have lined up next?
Let's move on. Let's move on to some of our more fun segments here. Let's go to one of our favorites here, Ballin Around the Globe. Producer Shay, hit it. Hey,
Oh,
Ballin Around the
all
Globe,
right,
where we take a
ball.
story and oh, go for it. Oh, sorry, I was gonna
No, no,
Ballin
go
Around the
ahead.
Globe,
That's a
where we take
nice
a soccer
little.
story and
Ballin Around the Globe.
I love it. Where we take a soccer story and kind of just highlight it around the world. And Jamal, we're going to start with you because I feel like we've gone with me the last 2 weeks. Where are we
I
going in
know,
this
man.
world?
We're throwing everything off. Well, Brandon, I'll have producer Shay bring it up. I'm sure a lot of fans saw this as this went pretty viral, but there's just so many questions. I don't know where to start. Shay, can you throw that up?
There it is. His
Do
world
you have
record.
the? Yeah. So basically, this is Axel Twanzibi. So I'm sorry for butchering that, but Manchester United player in July 2018, he broke the Guinness World Record for the fastest time to individually clear a game of Hungry Hungry Hippos while in LA on Manchester United's preseason tour. Impressive. Now, Brandon, my question to you is, what's more impressive, the fact that he broke it or the fact that there's a Hungry Hungry Hippos record to be broken?
That's what I'm saying. Like, at what point was everybody like, wow, you're so good at that. We should see if this is a record. And who just, it's absolutely absurd, but good for him. He's always going to have that. And what a plaque. I want to break a world record.
Were you ever into Hungry Hungry Hippos?
Not really. It's not really a strategy game. You kind of just keep hitting the
Yeah,
thing,
you
but
just mash on the
we
buttons.
have developed yeah, so not really. It's not one of my favorite ones, but I will say we have made Hungry Hungry Hippos into a like in between innings promotional game that is actually awesome. It uses like real humans to do it, and it is funny visually, especially.
Well, you
I'll
guys
take a
have to
video
bring
and
him
I'll make
down
sure we have
then.
it out.
You guys have to bring him
I
down
know.
as like a special
Yeah, right.
guest.
That would be awesome. That's actually a good call. Good promo.
Yeah, it
idea.
doesn't like you're just mashing on. So my whole thing was that like it's a 4-person game. Was he just there by himself, just because he cleared the board? So right, he just was by alone doing that.
I have no idea. Or does like they just play in the lockers the whole time and everybody's like, wow, you're really good at this game. I don't know how you get good at Hungry Hippos.
What I'm getting at is that like if he's alone in his hotel room and you just hear like, tap 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 tap.
He's like, I'm playing Hungry Hungry Hippos. Sure, mate.
That's all I'm saying. That might have been a cop out. Like, what's the most absurd thing you could? It's like in cartoons when they're just like, he's looking around. He's like, I was playing Hungry Hungry Hippos. Like, I don't know. I don't know if I buy.
And then now he had to go and break the world record.
Yeah, I need video footage of that.
No, that's amazing. I completely agree. All right, man. I'm going to take you here for a little fun for Around the Globe here. So, Jamal, what's a good excuse to get out of an obligation?
My dog was attacked. Too soon.
Some would say. All right, so for mine, today we go to Ireland, which is a true story, and I'm going to be reading a lot. So, in this one, the footballer who discovered his own death on social media has broken his silence over the bizarre scandal. Ballybrack FC, which is a Dublin league, concocted a story that Fernando Nuña Loftinha Saez had died in a traffic accident, reportedly in a bid to have a game postponed. Saez told the Mirror, I was aware they're going to do some story on me, but I thought it was going to be me breaking a leg or something. But I was just home from a day from work and I was playing some video games and I suddenly got a call from work. They were like, oh, hey, what happened? The article in the paper read, it was with great sadness that Ballybrack FC must report the tragic loss of one of our senior players, who's passed away Friday morning after a traffic accident on Thursday night. Our thoughts and prayers are with his family, friends, and teammates at this time. Rest in peace, Fernando. A statement issued by the club claimed the mistake was made by a person experiencing severe personal difficulties. The club went on to say, as of this evening, an emergency meeting was held, and the person in question has relieved of all football duties with Ballybrack FC. Its senior team enrolls with the club itself. The club has contacted Fernando to confirm his whereabouts, well-being, and are thankful for his acceptance of our apology on this matter. This grave and unacceptable mistake was completely out of character. It was made by a person who has been experiencing severe personal difficulties, unbeknownst to any of the members of the club. The club will continue to provide a duty of care to all parties and offer the support that may be needed at this time. So, Jamal, could you imagine your work saying, like, how do we postpone this game? We'll just say he's dead. Yeah, and you can see the headline there as producer Shay has found it. Alive and kicking is the headline. So can you believe that, man? That they said that he died, where he was just expecting that they're going to come out saying he broke his leg.
I mean, it's the Irish. I don't want to say I'm too surprised, to be honest with you. After a couple pints,
but I love how they just threw that guy under the bus.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
Like, he's just experiencing personal difficulties. No one else knew it.
That's what I love about like lower league soccer. Now that I'm like getting into it, because you have these insane stories like that, and you have not only stories, but like the crazy thing with lower league soccer, and especially in like Scotland, Ireland, it's a little bit easier to start a team. So you have these owners that have no business being owners, and they do crap like that all the time. So
For the kill a player.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, that's hilarious. I love that. I love that the team went that way. I think Ballybrack has a new fan here across the pond.
Yeah, right. They'll do anything to postpone a game. All right, let's go on to our now favorite thing: ball in, ball out. Producer Shay.
Ball
There it
in.
is.
Yeah, we are rusty.
There's the beat. Are you going to play the ball in, ball out?
Out.
Thank you. All right. So the first one here. Do you agree with Alexi Lawless that the top MLS team would finish mid-table in the Premier League? You ball in or ball out? Ball in or ball out on that?
Ball out. That guy's absolutely nuts. I mean, look, you can even the lower league guys are competitive sometimes. I mean, Liverpool and Luton a couple weeks back, like even the lower league teams are competitive with some of these higher end teams. A fool could just watch an MLS game. The quality is not the same at all. Alexi Lawless is just his Americanism is showing, and that's just he knows he's wrong too. That's clickbait for sure because no chance in hell.
So in this essence, we're saying Columbus, because we're going to take our previous champion here, who is a great squad. Do I think they could win a game in the Premier League? Absolutely. Do I think they could win multiple games? Sure. But finish mid-table? Not a chance. I'm with you on that one. Completely ball out. They would be relegated quick, and then I think they would even be relegated again after that. Like
Really?
MLS is getting better, but it's not to that level yet.
So
yeah, I
mean,
honestly.
Well, you had mentioned Wrexham earlier, and I remember I was on a podcast earlier this year, and we were talking about that specifically. And I was telling those guys, I think MLS is like a really good League One team. And I said that I think MLS could even compete in the championship, but I think lower tier championship. You think they'd get demoted
Agreed.
first year?
I think they would be in the fight of relegation. So like maybe they escape, but it would come down to like that final day. And I think they would be probably relegated, or at least in the relegation zone. It's not to that quality just yet. But I agree with you. They'd be a top League One team for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, Producer Shay, next one. No. Do you agree with Glenn Davis that Aliu will hit the 10-goal mark? He's at 2 goals right now. Do you think he'll reach 10? Ball in, ball out.
Ball out. Big Dick Sebas is back in town, baby. No way that's happening with Sebas back on the field.
I'm going to be ball in. I think Aliu on the wing is much better. I think with Sebas, that's going to help relieve a lot of pressure. They're going to have to kind of, quote unquote, double Sebas when he's at the top of the box. We've seen Aliu kind of put away these little toe poke goals. I think he's going to get plenty of those. So 8 more goals. He's already done this with a lot of depleted team. Ball in. I think he can definitely hit 10.
Listen, this is something that we haven't talked about because we really don't cover these guys. But don't be surprised if maybe in a few months, a few weeks, or maybe in a month or two, there's a guy by the name of Exxon who creeps into that lineup, because I don't know if you saw what he did yesterday. He looked impressive. He looked like a man amongst boys with Dynamo. And if he plays like that consistently, well, that's true. But that's a topic for something else. But if he keeps up that performance that he did yesterday, I could see him taking some minutes away from Aleu, because he's a true winger, and he just looked good, man. So I'm ball out because Sebas is back, 1, but 2, I could see Exxon taking some minutes away.
I hope you're right about Exxon coming to take some minutes away, because we just need more depth, especially on the wing. But
jump on YouTube when you get a chance.
I like what
check them out.
Well, I do like what Dynamo did by making their tickets free. I think that's a brilliant idea when they don't have that wide of a market just yet in terms of attendance. That's what they need to do. 100% in on that. Good call by them. I know that was a random ball in, ball out on that one. But all right, Producer Shay, next one. We're wearing the purple kits too much. You ball in or ball out on that?
I'm ball out. I love it. We're in Purple City. I'm glad that we crushed the whole "they're cursed" idea. So I'm ball out. Look, honestly, I've worn the kit a few times, and I've never gotten compliments more than I do with that kit. We talked before we started recording. I'm headed to Mexico City tomorrow morning. Best believe I'm taking that damn kit with me. So I love it. We can't have enough purple. I don't know if this is going to be a mainstay for us going forward. So let's just use it and abuse it now that we have it.
It's a beautiful kit. I'm with you on that. I think it definitely deserves to be worn in public. But I will say, Ballin, we are wearing it too much. We are orange, man. We're forever orange. I like our orange kits. I love the pure orange of it. The purple is a great mix in there. I hope we continue, like you said, to keep that as a staple going forward. I think if we keep these two colors as like our predominant soccer club colors, we'd be totally about that. So I will say I hope we go back to rocking orange a little bit more, but the purple is beautiful.
I mean, because like there was that video that got pretty popular of the YouTuber, the Bronco, and he mentioned like he did mention about the city
OJ?
being or he mentioned about the team being tapped in with the culture. So, and I think he's from Dallas. So, like, even out of towners understand it. And I mean, the purple, like we've harped on it, not to beat a dead horse, but I feel like that does resemble Houston. Now, this might be a ball in ball out for future dates, but like you alluded to, I would substitute the purple for black in a heartbeat for like a
Same.
permanent change because I think Shay said it. I feel the same way. It gets a little too Halloweenish sometimes. So I love the purple, and it's just unique. Like I just love orange and purple. One of the few teams I think that we've used that combo, so I'm all for it.
I agree with that. I kind of wish we would take out the black for the purple, let the dash keep kind of the Houston sky blue. And I think we've tied in Houston really well with both our male and female clubs. Brilliant move. I think that would be an awesome one. All right, producer Shay, hit us again. Is it justified people hate the League's Cup? A lot of people, I would say, overall on Twitter, Podcast Essential, just hate the League's Cup. You ball in or ball out on everybody kind of hating the League's Cup?
I'm ball out on it. I like the idea. I think that I've mentioned this before. MLS wants the Liga MX fans. Liga MX wants the MLS TV money. I think this is a small step in what's to come. What I don't like about the League's Cup is that it's all played in the US. If you would have, like we've said before, if we could play some in Mexico, I would be all about it. It'd be my favorite cup for sure, my favorite tournament. But we don't have that, and it's a money grab, and it's evident, and it's obvious, and you're frustrating the Mexican teams, and it's not very fair, and there's no home field advantage. So I can see why people are upset, but I honestly, I think this is just a small step because I think it's going to get even bigger, longer. I think this is just the sign of what's to come between these two leagues. I think there's going to be much more of this cohesiveness with the two leagues, and I think Leagues Cup is just a small step. So if you hate it, I think get used to it because it's only going to get bigger and bigger.
I agree about it getting bigger and bigger. Ball out on people hating the League's Cup. I think this is one of the plays that is actually brilliant in growing the MLS. I think the idea of bringing in Argentinian teams, I hope eventually we start to bring in those Brazilian teams as well. If we're going to keep stealing all their U22 talent, let's bring them into the tent here and start to see if we can make them domestic by just keeping them MLS talent or however we want to do it. But in the essence, it's going to grow our brands. It's going to strengthen the league. I think it will also shine better light on those Brazilian teams and Argentinian teams. I don't think people realize how good those players are down there. A lot of top talent starts there. You look at Neymar's, Ronaldinho's, etc., right? They come from those teams out there in Brazil and then go on to star. If we could start to bring them under the Apple umbrella, really start to highlight their profiles, I think it just benefits so many people. I know Leagues Cup is a cash grab. I'm okay with it being a cash grab. Most things are a cash grab in this essence. The one thing that was historic was the US Open Cup, and they said we don't want to play in it. So come on, what are we really doing here? So I think this is the best thing for us. I understand why people are frustrated against it because it is like a month where things stop, but it's awesome, man. Like I like this of bringing in other clubs from different leagues. I think it's a preview to show that we're going to merge with Liga MX and we'll soon have relegation and promotion. I hope we have more mirror things of what they're doing in Europe. If we can do it domestically here, I think it's only going to be better for our overall brand.
Yeah, and like I alluded to it earlier, like I have a few friends in Mexico and they strictly watch Liga MX. To those guys, MLS is still lesser quality. It's taking the Leeds Cup for
Yep.
them to be like, oh man, like MLS is kind of good after all. Now now they're going to fall back on well they have home court or home field advantage and blah blah blah. So there's always going to be excuses, but now they're like, wait a second, there's something here, and even they're seeing the quality themselves whenever MLS teams play one another. So yeah, it's definitely great for brand. I mean, it's new, and I feel like the traditionalists are probably the ones that are more upset, especially after everything that happened with the Open Cup. But again, I think this is just a taste of what's to come. This relationship between the two leagues is just going to grow even more and more. And so, if this is what it's going to take to include some kind of promotion relegation into the U.S. soccer economy, bring it on. I'm all for it.
I agree. On the way out here, let's talk about two things. One's LAFC going after Olivier Giroud, and the Dynamo going after Kevin Kelsey.
Kevin
Takes
Kelsey.
on either or.
Giroud, I'm not surprised. I mean, if anyone, I feel like he has the looks for Hollywood, so LA makes sense. Older guy, so I don't really see him being such a huge game changer. So I'm okay with it. Bring
Scored a
more eyes
lot
to
of
the league.
goals.
Will he
He's
still do
France
that
leading
though?
goal scorer, and I think he has like what 12 goals in 18 games over there in Italy right now.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like I always go back to what Gerard said when he played here in LA, and it's like it's different with the travel. I think a lot of these guys aren't used to being in a plane so long. Italy, it's quick to just jump around, take the bus a lot of times. Here you're taking 5-6 hour flights, and it's throwing them off. So I'm not saying that he's not capable of it. I'm just like I'd like to see how he does a month or so living here in the U.S. And I mean, is he going to take it seriously? Is this going to be his retirement league? So I mean, it's going to be interesting. I'm not like up in arms. I'm not as excited as I was about Messi coming to the league. Of course, Messi's like once in a generation, but Kevin Kelsey, that's who I'm excited about. More so just because a lot of like the football manager guys that I watch on YouTube were pretty big on him. So it was just like a name I knew because we've talked about it. It's like every time we talk about someone we're going after, it's straight to YouTube to watch crappy highlights of
Hmm.
a third division South American team. And for the first time, I actually knew who this person was. So I'm excited for it. But the more I read about it, I think it's just his agents trying to milk every penny out of FC Cincinnati. They have his discovery rights. So if they do want to sign him, it has to go through them first. And I just thought it was kind of I felt it was kind of strange that they were very specific on what the number was and the Dynamo. And it's like, well, who needs a striker? The Dynamo. They've been linked to South American players before, so I just felt like we were the easiest subject to use in a case like this where they just want to hike up the price. So I don't think we see him in a Dynamo uniform. I hope I'm wrong, but I think he's either staying or he's going to Cincinnati. I don't see it going anywhere else.
Yeah, I think that's a very good call on this as just being a ploy to drive up his price, especially I think eventually FC Cincinnati caves. They haven't had the best start right now, so that's going to be something to, you'll hit the panic button and he'll infuse that kind of adrenaline into the team. I think it's a good bait to use for us because you're right, there is a glaring hole and we have the money right now to go for things and we've been rumored to do such. If we swing and miss on him and we don't get him, I hope we still get something of same caliber. And but with Giroud, you mentioned, is this going to be his retirement league? I would start to say that that notion might be dead now here in the MLS. I think players have taken notice to where if you can come in like Messi and win, because that's the one thing a lot of people forget. First thing that Messi did in the MLS was go on to win the League's Cup. And that's a good promotional tactic. I think a lot of players are starting to realize if you come here, you take it seriously, there's a real play for you to make a lot of money. I would be surprised if Giroud came in here and didn't make much noise. Saying that, I hope we go after somebody with same caliber. I hope more people are seeing these big names coming here. I I hope we kind of dive into something big.
Griezmann isn't off the table. We called it first with Glenn.
It
So
is not. Yep,
yeah, I mean, look,
we'll
I
reap
because
those
I
rewards.
hadn't used that term retirement league in a while when it comes to these kind of signings, but I mean, I think he's going to be 38 by the time he does get here, or he might still be
Yeah, but he's
37.
still
So it's
producing though.
yeah, I know. I don't know. I'm not. I think because he's just like a good looking dude, I just like don't want to believe it. I feel like he just wanted to come to LA and just like live the Hollywood lifestyle. So we'll see. I mean, I hope he does well, just because makes the league better,
I
makes
thought
us
that was
all
going to be
better.
Suarez, and he's come out red hot. So like,
Yeah.
I honestly I think these guys are taking it seriously. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we'll see. Well, Brandon, I think that might be about it. I am headed to Mexico City after a chaotic weekend. Folks, if you're a pet owner, hug your dogs extra tight tonight, at least for me. It was a rough week, but it looks like we're going to pull through. And I promise we won't be as rusty next week. We'll be ready. We'll be bright-eyed, bushy-tailed after the Easter break. Brandon, anything you want to let the people know before we sign off?
Heck yeah, man. I'm going to self-promote my own stuff here. Listen to Down in Sugarland podcast, where it's everything Space Cowboys. Our opening day is April 2nd. Get your tickets, baby.
I hope you're promoting this podcast on that one.
Oh, of course. Now the team would kill me.
Great. All righty, folks. Well, for this week's Rusty episode, I'm Jamal.
And I'm Brandon. And this is The Way We Ball and Sell Out.